Alrighty everyone, hello, and you know what? Today, I want to talk about something that has been made fun of quite a bit on Witch Talk, and that is the lemon hex. So if you guys have been on TikTok, you might have noticed that at one point people were goofing pretty heavily on lemon hexes because a lot of like kind of beginner witches were making these spells, but then kind of making them seem like they weren't for beginners, right? They're like, this is not a beginner-friendly spell, and like, they're using a lemon, chili pepper, and things like that in their spells. You'll notice I'm laughing about it a little bit because while it's not necessarily a bad spell, and we'll get into why, yes, it is a very beginner spell. To say beginners don't try is like, what do you mean? You have some of the most accessible ingredients on the planet in your hex. Of course it's a beginner spell. And of course, as a kitchen witch specifically, yeah, I have some criticisms of using a lemon over other things. I mean, the humble onion is an incredible ingredient, not only for money spells, for banishment, but also for baneful workings. There's a lot of interesting folklore around the planet. Like, I believe there is some Islamic lore that says that when the devil walked on the ground, onions and garlic sprang up in his footsteps. And obviously it's also just a very sulfuric, very smelly, very intense item. You hold this up to most creatures, like a dog or something, the dogs don't even want to eat it. I remember we used to play that prank on my dog a bunch. She would be begging for food at the table, we'd hold up half an onion to her, and she'd be like... So. You just wanted to flirt with it, why don't you want it now? Huh? What? Oh. What? What's this? What's that? What's that? Things like onions and garlic that are stinky and sulfuric, of course they're way better for hexes if you have to choose an accessible food item, right? Sulfur, we all know, is very commonly associated with demons, and so... why lemon hex when you could onion hex? However, all that to say, there is some function to a lemon hex, and there is some ways to do a lemon hex really, really well if you know what you're doing. One thing that I feel like periodically needs to be a reminder to all witches everywhere is that magic is not coming from outside of you. Magic is coming from within you. The only purpose that ingredients have in your spell, specific things, obviously is, yes, they lend a little bit of help, a tiny bit of assistance, but really the main focus of it is to focus you. If you have your mind right to focus the magic, you could be using anything. You could be using a plastic Walmart bag. You could be using corn kernels from a popcorn bag. You could be using yellow highlighters and just literally paper and pen. It doesn't matter what you're using, so long as what you're using helps you focus your magic effectively. So many videos or influencers, witchy influencers, they have all these things, all these pretty things, crystals and incense and blah blah blah, and all these very nice things. That's great, that's all well and good. 1,000,002 tarot decks, yay hooray, that's great, it's all well and good, but you don't need any of it to do good magic. All you need is your own imagination and your own power. Which is why a lemon hex can be unexpectedly pretty intense. But like all things, everything is going to have a bit of a different talent. So this is where, yes, the ingredients you use do impact your magic in some way, right? Like, if you are trying to heal someone, there are many different ways you can heal because there are many different things that need healing. Are you healing someone of a physical sickness, of a heartache, of, I don't know, a mental blockage? Like, there's so many different things that go into that require different items. Magic, for a long time, was considered medicine, and we can see a parallel to that here, right? Where you wouldn't use aspirin to treat a cold necessarily, and you wouldn't use cough syrup to relieve pain from an injury, right? Likewise, while you can do a really good lemon hex, it's going to be better for certain types of hexes than others. Part of understanding how that works is by just understanding the concept of the lemon itself. The lemon is a citrus. That means it's very sour, very acidic. So the thing about lemons, right? This is citrus, it's very acidic, it's got all of these other kinds of qualities to it, like it's yellow, so that is the color of joy and happiness. So we could take this one of two ways. Traditionally, normally, most often, a lemon is used as a cleansing and purifying tool. It also symbolizes friendship. Knowing that yellow is that color of happiness and that it does, show up a lot in cleaning ingredients, right? Because it cuts grease and it really brightens things up, leaves a nice clean scent. That's what people will use it for. However, if you wanted to use it in Hex, you absolutely could, and it's by using those exact qualities. For instance, if someone had a really bad attitude and a really bad way of acting around people and you wanted to clean them up a bit, you could absolutely incorporate the juice of a lemon into a hex that kind of cuts the grease in whatever it is that they're doing and neutralizes all of their emotional stench that they keep throwing on people. Another thing you could do is use lemons that have gone bad or icky, like this one that I found in my fridge and gave to my tree spirit outside, a very icky-gucky looking little lemon. You could use something like that to represent happiness and joy decaying in somebody, right? You can absolutely use a moldy or squishy, icky lemon to symbolize the decay of joy, the stagnation, the rot that might infect a person's joy. Likewise, as you see a lot of people on TikTok, they'll cut the lemon open and put things into it. Well, again, if the lemon is a symbol of joy and you wanted to hex somebody, you could absolutely make that lemon a symbol of something that makes them happy. Cut it open, fill it with unsavory things, and that represents the thing that they find joy in becoming hollow, rotting from the inside out, and actually becoming a damaging thing. Each and every one of these examples makes the lemon a symbol of what you're trying to do. It makes it a symbol of cleaning away people's ugly behavior, makes it a symbol of joy rotting and wilting away, makes it a symbol of things that seem to spark joy not being what they appear at all and actually being quite harmful and dangerous, so on and so forth. And other parts of the lemon exist too. Like, while we don't really eat lemons as a fruit the way we do oranges or anything, the lemon rind and the rind of any citrus is going to be powdery, bitter, not really fun to eat. So you could absolutely make some bitter lemon rind and use that as a way to also poison people's joy, happiness, always undercut it with that kind of bitterness, that kind of less favorable quality, right? You could make people bitter. The thing about witchcraft is that everything has two sides, right? As I say, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So when it comes time to make a hex with a lemon, like as in an actual ritual setting like this, yes, there are many things you could do with that. But also, if you wanted to get on that kitchen witch game, right, you don't need to have such an obvious symbol where a guest could see it. If you are playing a bit of a sneaky game, or you are trying to kind of get back at someone without really starting a actual altercation with them, another way that you could do so, especially if it's like, I don't know, someone that maybe in your family you really don't have a good relationship with. Maybe it's somebody at a function or a work party that really grinds your gears, right? These things can still apply, with the caveat that you don't do anything to the food that would cause physical distress. Remember that when we do kitchen witchcraft, especially when it comes to baneful workings, we are not actually manipulating people's food, like people suggest with putting laxatives in things, or putting non-edible things, or putting things people are allergic to. Do not do that. That is a felony. That is called poisoning. That will get you actual jail time if people find out that you tampered with their food. Do not ever do that. But as we were just discussing, right, all of these things that you could use a lemon to symbolize in a ritual, they can still pop up in something as innocuous and seemingly harmless as lemon poppy seed cake. Lemon poppy seed is a brutal hex combination, and yet such a popular dessert item, especially a breakfast item, right? Like muffins, pound cakes, anything like that. It's really, really insidious, the things you can do with it, and yet no one seems to think about that. And the reason for that is, again, right, if we have something like a lemon that cuts through grease, cuts through nonsense, and therefore purifies things, including bad behavior, but also something that symbolizes joy, and can therefore be used to undercut joy. Likewise, the poppy, which is traditionally in magic used for sleep, psychic dreams, all these other kinds of things, in excess can cause, confusion, psychic confusion. Obviously, that doesn't mean pour the whole bottle of poppy seeds in a recipe, but that you follow the recipe. But what that does mean is you can invoke the poppy's talents in excess. The poppy's talents are sleep. You invoke them more than what they normally do, and now it's drowsiness, confusion, and even fear, right? We go from dreams to nightmares very quickly. And again, while we're not tampering with food and using rotting things, you could definitely use an older lemon that's still good but has shown signs of age, like maybe a brown spot on it, or maybe a little bit of a wrinkle to it. Still edible, but clearly has the starting signs of decay. No one's gonna see the rind of the lemon, no one's gonna know. So long as it's not actively spoiled and doesn't taste weird and doesn't have like mold on it, you're fine. Like, people eat fruit with brown spots on it all the time, that's not a big deal. But you can use that to symbolize the rot of joy, the turning of dreams and happiness to nightmares and disappointment. That'll make all of y'all think triple billion times before accepting a lemon poppy seed muffin from someone in the future, I'm sure. But that's why there's that old kitchen witch wisdom. Don't eat things from people you know are witches that you are not like this with. Another really popular combination is lemon and blueberry. Lemon and blueberry is more defensive though, it's not quite the same as lemon and poppy, and that's because blueberries are actually a hex breaking item. So if you know that someone is coming after you in a magical attack, if you know someone is trying to get the one up on you, then instead of poppy, I would definitely use blueberries. Things like my blueberry platsuk, right, that Ukrainian recipe, things like lemon blueberry muffins, or especially lemon blueberry pound cake and tea cakes. These are really, really good for this kind of thing because they take all the stuff with the lemon, right? Cutting, purifying, destroying all this kind of bad odor and energy and stuff like that. And they combine it with the blueberry, which is for psychic protection, hex breaking, and just general psychic power, right? Because of that blue-purple kind of juice and the fruit and everything like that. This is like the energy you get, right, when you get some kind of acid in a paper cut. That's especially what you can invoke with the lemon, as not only a breaking of the hex, but a return to sender on that one, and that lemon-blueberry combo. When you get something like lemon juice or some kind of vinegar in a cut, it stings, it hurts, right? It's not like permanently damaging, obviously, it's not something super deadly and dangerous, but God, it hurts so bad, especially if you've got dry, chapped skin, anything like that hurts. So if you want that return to sender effect, definitely lemon-blueberry. Think about cutting away all of that bad energy, cutting through the grease of it, right? Grease being that negative energy, that filth that they're trying to dump on you. The blueberries also to back up that hex breaking and then psychic protection, and then the lemon juice itself to sting whatever wounds these people have. Now, can this kind of hex work as effectively as a hex that's full of broken nails, broken glass, dead bees, and other such things? Again, it depends on how good your imagination skills are. I'm not going to say that some ingredients are more powerful than others. This would kind of defeat the entire purpose of witchcraft, which is being accessible, using what you have. There's no such thing as a spell that can become magically more powerful just because it uses like some extremely rare secret ingredient. The only reason it would be more powerful is because you believe more in that item than you do the items you have laying around your house on the daily. But if you put that same faith and trust and belief in your magic, whether it's being activated through the symbol of an onion or the symbol of something more rare like asafoetida, you can get a lot done. And so lemon hexes can still be extremely, devastatingly effective if you believe that you have the power to activate all your magic based on the symbols you're looking for. The magic does not come from the lemon. The magic does not come from the rusty nails and the broken glass. The magic comes from you. So if you have all of these special ingredients and your magic still isn't working that way, it's because you're not really actually believing you can do anything with your magic. There are people, as Damien Eccles says, in Angels and Archangels and all that, that if you dropped people off completely butt naked in the middle of the woods, then if they were good magicians, they could still do some really, really powerful magic. Another way to think of it is, a good artist is a good artist. Yeah, you can spend a ton of money on really high-grade paints and really nice canvases and wonderful brushes, but at the end of the day, if the skill isn't there, then all of those beautiful materials don't mean much once you actually put them down on the canvas. A good artist is a good artist, no matter they have a mechanical pencil on a piece of regular printer paper, or if they have all of those fancy materials. So when it comes to your magic and what you're trying to do, don't feel defeated if you don't have a bunch of fancy tools. You can still get a lot done with a simple lemon hex. if you believe in what you're doing and you organize your magic effectively. So I hope this helps you guys think about that a little bit, and I will see you guys next time for some more Kitchen Witch tips. See you!